here at the Urban Action Showcase. I'm president of the Women's Martial Arts Network. My name is Lady Sensei. And the reason that I'm here today is because the Urban Action Showcase strongly supports women in film, in positive images. They provide platforms and opportunities for women to network, to grow together, to create together. And I'm so excited to see you all here. And I've seen all of your clips. And in traditional African culture, we say, with everything that we could think of, with all the love that is in my heart, I pray that God continue to bless the ground that you walk on, because you are doing something so significant for our future. And you want to leave it here when you go, when you all go, you see. So never doubt for one moment the significance of what you're doing, because your yesterday is going to be some young ladies today and tomorrow. So thank you all for being here. In the interest of time, I'm going to get started. And what I'd like to do is have the ladies introduce themselves one by one. All right, we'll begin with you, Celia, please.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Celia Al, and I run the show War Assassins on Netflix.
Hello everyone, my name is Regine L. Sawyer. I am the owner, writer, creator of Lockettdown Productions. I produce science fiction and horror comic books. I'm also the coordinator and founder of the Women in Comics Collective International. We host events around the country, including our own conference here in the city.
Wow.
I am Cynthia Rothrock, martial artist, action star, and I'm here as one of the 4 dragons that helped represent Michael J. White into the Dragon Society.
Absolutely.
My name is Evelyn Vaccaro. I work as a stunt performer and an actress, and I have a passion for rescuing animals, so that's what I do when I'm not working.
Nice.
Wow.
Hi everybody, my name is Nafessa Williams. I play Thunder on CW's Black Lightning, and it's been a true honor to be a hero that I didn't see when I was a little girl. Can we have her stand up, because she's dressed as Thunder and she's exactly who I do it for little brown girls who wear cornrows and they growing up in the ghetto to know that they can see themselves on TV and to know that they're represented.
And that they can save the world.
Exactly.
Yes, they can save the world. Well, welcome. What is your name? Again? I'm sorry. Brittany?
Courtney.
Courtney. I'm so sorry, Courtney. We are so excited to have you here. And I'm glad you all are here because there's a little lady that's one of my students. And she has been so excited about seeing you all. Cara, would you please stand up?
Oh, hi, Cara.
We're going to leave this world to Courtney and Cara. And many more little girls like them. So step boldly and step loudly and make your voice heard. So ladies, I would like to start with you, Sister Cynthia, because I don't know, has anyone here seen any of Master Rothrock's films?
I grew up watching her films.
China O'Brien.
If you have not had the pleasure of seeing one of her films, one of the things that I find so remarkable about her is not only is she a superb technician, but at the time that she came along, her athleticism was unprecedented. And I look at it and I still look and shake my head when I see how physical you were. So we want to start with you. Did I unless it's really good camera work, you did all of your stunts?
Yeah, pretty much most of them. When I was in Hong Kong, if it was like falling from like a 10-story building, that wasn't me, but yeah, all the martial arts were.
So what were people's expectations of you? You know, on the set, okay, we're going to put you in this film, and you look at the script and you go, I gotta fight 12 guys? What tell us about coming through in the 80s?
Well, when I first went to Hong Kong, I knew nothing about filmmaking, and we didn't have a script. They didn't use a script, so
Wow.
you didn't know what you were doing until you were there that day. And I think the first day, they really didn't know how to act with me. You know, here they are, like, oh, here's this girl, you know, she's coming from the U.S., and we got to be really delicate with her, and, you know, they were all really sweet. And then we started doing the fight scene, and I started fighting, like, really good, and then they were like, okay, all right, she could do this, she could do that, and kind of changed their opinion, because I think they were thinking that I was going to be afraid to get hurt, or, you know, and I just said, yeah, bring it on, give it to me what you have, you know?
You had some risky work. I mean, like, she's really so powerful as a performer, and I'm not accustomed to seeing that kind of athleticism.
Yeah, it was interesting, because I've done like 7 films in Hong Kong, and I thought after the first one, each time I did one, I was going to die on the next one, because the stunts were so hard.
Wow.
And I'd be like, I'd be so sore and broken, and I'd be going, oh, and then I'd heal up and I'd go, when's the next film? When's the next film? You know, so it was something that I just loved. And I think, you know, to be a Hong Kong star back then, or even now, is that you just have to really, really be tough, you know, and I think they were expecting me to, you know, not be as tough as the guys were, you know, and I think that's what I've done all my whole life, is like, no, I didn't put women and men are here, like, we're here, and just, I could do whatever you guys could do.
So, and I want to touch on that point, because as a practitioner, I remember in the beginning, I felt like I had something to prove, that I was tough enough. And I always told my teacher, I don't want to be good for a girl. First of all, I'm too old to be a girl. But I want to be good because I'm good. I don't want to be a token. Celia, tell me about how you knew you were tough enough.
First of all, I think I grew up watching a lot of badass females on screen as well. Like Cynthia, for one. My parents own a Chinese video store, so I grew up watching a lot of Hong Kong films. So I watched like the Shoyo, like Cynthia beating people. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that too. And then my hero as a kid was the Yellow Ranger. Oh, oops, thank you. My hero as a kid was the Power Rangers, the yellow female Yellow Ranger. After that, I'm like, oh my God, that's me on screen kicking butt. I want to do that too. So I never felt like that there's not something I can or cannot do. Maybe because I've seen, you know, Power Rangers was the one when I was like, I remember running home from school. I was like in probably 3rd or 4th grade, and be like, I have to catch the Power Rangers. My mom's like, do your homework. I'm like, Power Rangers first. But I was like, oh wow, like they're doing martial arts, they're fighting bad guys, and they're heroes. And I was like, how can I want to do that? So later on, I was like, I want to be an officer. I want to be in the Marines and all that. Later on, I'm like, oh, okay, I want to do something to make an impact, to change. And I found my way into acting. I was like, we're storytellers, and we can empower other people through the stories we're telling. And luckily enough, I got into Wu Assassins, where it's like a badass film and a badass TV show, and everyone's kicking butts.
Yeah.
And we have a great team of like, I remember one of the first things people said, like, wow, Wu Assassin's different. The girls are not getting saved. They're holding their own, and they're fighting the boys as well.
Absolutely.
And with the boys. And we're like, yeah, guys, come on.
Yeah. But that's great. You see, you know, there was a chasm between your generation and Master Rothrock, you see? And so because you had access to those images, you see what kind of young women we're producing.
Yeah.
You see, your talents are gifts that keep on giving. You see, and that's why it's so important. So please tell me, Sister Regine, what empowers you about what you're doing with women in comics, because I could tell you growing up in the 60s and the 70s, the only thing I remember is there was this one black girl on Josie and the Pussycats. And everywhere I went with my little curly afro, I looked like that girl. Tell me how you empower and inspire with women in comics creating Sheroes.
Well, with Women in Comics, our main focus was to help women that work in the industry. Because when we initially started, that was around 2012, you didn't see a lot of female creators and artists physically out in spaces. And so we had a panel, someone invited me and invited a few other people. And what was shocking to the audience was that it was mostly women of color. And so from there we decided, well, this is very important because it touched the panelists and also touched the audience. So we have to do something more. So let's go out into the world and find more creators. And gradually, as we began doing more things, panel discussions, workshops, women started coming out of the woodworks. I write, I draw. I don't come out often because I'm scared of being judged. I'm scared of what will happen if someone sees that I'm a Black woman creating. I'm a Latinx woman creating. So we started to break through that barrier, and at a certain point it became, well, if you hate to see us, too bad. It's coming to that point, and it came to that point, and we're still sort of breaking through that barrier. So we started with 8 members, and now we have about 150 worldwide.
Wow.
And we're not just
Excellent.
artists or writers, we also have geek journalists, we have actors, we have educators, art curators. So we run the gamut of our members within our membership. So it's important for us to keep highlighting what our needs are and who we are as people, but also our work. Because I find that women within this particular industry, at least within comics, like it's so hard for them to sort of speak up for themselves. It's like, okay, here's my work, but don't look at me. But it's a reminder, this organization is a reminder that it's important for our audience to see us. It's important for those little girls to see us who look like us, so they know that we exist and they can do the same thing, and that this is a viable career path.
Yes, thank you so much. You're welcome. So, Sister Evelyn, tell me how working on a film like John Wick could inspire a 57-year-old woman like me. Tell me about how that opportunity changed any of your opportunities as a woman.
Well, I have to admit that I was still pinching myself when I got the role.
Wow.
I had to dance, I had to sing, and I had to fight for that role and go for a callback and everything.
She's a triple threat.
The one thing I have to say, I was so impressed by the stunt team, 8711, who worked with Keanu Reeves on all of his films, and they're his stunt team. They were so generous with me, they were so kind to me, but they also expected so much from me. They were like, this is what you're doing, you're learning it in 30 seconds, and let's do it. And that was a really cool moment, because these are some of the big guys in the business.
Absolutely.
Big guys and girls, they have girls on their team as well. So they expected a lot from me, and
Were you the new kid on the block?
I was sure.
Wow.
I sure was. And it was just wonderful that I was given that opportunity, and it was nice that they gave it to a female. It was really nice. It was a nice opportunity to be there and work amongst people that are so well respected in the industry, and also expected a lot of me as a female. It wasn't like, oh, let's just bring a girl on. They just wanted somebody to fill that role.
So they were over it,
Yeah. It was really cool feeling. But as far as inspiring other people, and you yourself, I'm inspired by you, Lady Sensei. I'm so inspired by you. I'm so inspired by all of you. I'm so inspired. I say that we just keep doing exactly what you say, just being there, showing up, and making sure that it's not just they're throwing roles at us, they're not just giving it to a female, that we show that we deserve those roles, that we come and we bring it, and we are prepared, we train, we're prepared, so that they give us those roles because they're like, that's the best person for the part, not just because we gotta throw a female in there.
Sure. No tokens.
No tokens,
No
exactly,
tokens.
just come and be prepared.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Sister Nafessa, you have young women dressing like you right now. That has got to be the greatest thing. As a martial artist, when little girls come to the booth or see us in public and their eyes sparkle, for me, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Tell me how good you are when that happens.
Man, I truly feel like I'm walking in my purpose, and I believe that's what life is about. I believe when you find your purpose and you start living it, that's when life begins.
Absolutely.
And then our duty is to inspire everybody around us to find out what their purpose is and encourage them to live theirs.
Yes.
So I feel so fulfilled when I see that. When, I play the first Black lesbian superhero.
Wow.
As Black lesbians, we don't
You can
get
give that some love. There was a time where people didn't make decisions like that in their careers.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, so for the lesbians out there, and Black lesbians in particular, who don't normally get to see themselves in such a positive light, I feel so honored and humbled to be able to be that representation for them. So when they turn on the television, they see themselves and they see a positive image. And what I love about our show is there was no conflict about this character being a lesbian. There was no big coming out moment about it. It was she was who she was, and they do a great job at normalizing it. And I believe when we go to the cinema, when we watch television, we want to see characters who look like us and represent us, who are going through the same issues as we are. So I try to pick my roles that are going to make sure they're life-changing and make sure they're breaking barriers, so that we have little girls like her who will one day walk into a normal situation of being a superhero or being, whatever it is that you want to be. So I just feel really fulfilled. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm just taking on any job. I feel like it's one that I have a responsibility of. Again, we're storytellers, so our job is to empower and to inspire through the stories that we're telling. And I'm really, really grateful that God chose me for the first Black superhero family.
absolutely.
To be a part of
Give
that
her
and
some
give
love.
voice.
Give her some love. 'Cause
She's blazing trails in the 21st century.
Absolutely. So, tell me, ladies, this is an open question for anyone that wants to answer. Tell me about how you find sisterhood in your work. When you come onto a set, is there, some old cat energy going on, or, do you get embraced? Anyone?
I always try to remind myself of the idea that we're all unique and God chose us all for a purpose of our own. And if we understand that and we walk in that confidence, then there is no competition. And then when you know that, then you can embrace each other and know that what's for you is for you. And if you do feel that cattiness, give love to it, because that's all that's missing in the other side of that. You know what I mean?
Take the high road.
Exactly. And know who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we can surmise that when each of us appear and it upsets someone's energy, we understand that is not our
That's
issue.
not us.
That's right.
You understand that the battle that they're waging is within
It's within themselves. I also think that in Hollywood or just in a lot of industries where we were taught to believe that there's only a certain amount, it's limited opportunities, and that's not the case. If we truly believe that what's for us is for us, and now we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have TV, we have movies, there's so many areas and facets for us to be employed now that there is no, I hope that we come to the idea that there's enough for all of us, and if we accept that idea, we would lose so much of the negativity.
Anybody else want to talk about finding sisterhood?
I live by the whole thing that we're stronger in numbers.
Yeah.
Always, always. My very close friend, Lisa Tate, I don't know if she's here right now. She was here yesterday. She won an award yesterday. She was honored yesterday. She's my stunt sister, and she and I show each other so much support. And anyone who calls me, they can call me any time of the day, it doesn't matter. If I see that someone is in need of anything, I drop everything I'm doing, except for if I'm on set.
Yeah.
But I'll run to the corner and I'll text them real quick, look, I'm on set right now, but don't worry, I got you. We're stronger in numbers. I just taught my girlfriend how to drive the other day. I'm like, you need to know how to drive, we gotta get you a driver's license. Spent 6 months teaching how to drive, she just got a driver's license, and she just got a stunt job because she had a driver's license. So we're stronger in numbers, that's, you know, that's just the way it is, that's how I believe it too, so I'm with you.
Well, I've been doing films for like 30 years now, and you know, most of the time I've always felt that the women were always supportive of each other. You know, we were there and we were trying to make the best movie, and you know, if one of us got hurt, the other one is there to pick her up. What I did find though, which is interesting enough, like a couple of the men, I found a little bit of the jealousy. Like I've had some guys say, oh no, she can't hit me that way because there's no way I'd fall down, right? Or actually, one of my best friends, who I'm not gonna mention, we had a fight scene together in a movie a couple years ago, and he goes, well, Cynthia's gotta beat me up, but have me get stabbed in the arm first so I'm like injured, so then I can fight her, you know? And you know, my feeling is you are who you are, you do what you do, and if you're gonna shine no matter what the situation is. And sometimes, like, you might have someone on set that, you know, mostly male, is a little not as strong or as good, and it'll show, you know, so.
He needs
but
to
it was
be injured
funny,
in the
but,
script.
yes, but right, you know, it's very funny, you know, and you just go, okay, whatever, you know, I just get out there and, you know, do my best. But yeah, most of in all the films, you know, the women were very supportive of each other on set. Maybe off set, maybe not so much, but on set they were.
Well, I have an organization filled with women. And we are very much a family. Like, we're very much a unit. It's like you mess with us, you mess with all of us. So when we go into places, we usually come as a unit. We're going to network, we come as a unit. So there might be 10 of us, there might be 12 of us. And there's a point where someone will ask me, Regine, is that one of yours? Is she one of yours? I think, well, that's one of our members. Yes, and actually there's 20 of them over there too. You know, so we're about sisterhood and family, and we're very, very, very connected.
Okay.
I think in a film set, it's teamwork, right? We gotta support each other and be the one to show the friendliness and be like, hey, nice to meet you. And I think once you open that door, everyone would be nice and try and be like, hey, nice to meet you too. You just put out the good energy and the positive energy, and it'll come back. And I always believe in putting it whatever you want back out there. What goes around comes around.
Yes. Is anyone here doing what they wanted to do for all of their life? This is what they wanted to do? Or did you all have divergent roads in your life, and somehow you chose your current professions?
I have the mic, I guess.
Yeah.
I actually was a corporate food manager for about 13 years. But I've always written and loved the written word, loved comics. I have a huge comic book collection, had it since I was 9 years old. So it was always something that was in me. And when I was in the midst of my career, I just said, you know what, you only live once, at least in this life. And let me try, let me see. And things were kind of serendipitous from there. The moment that I put it out to God, like this is what I want, then things just started happening.
So would you classify yourself as a late bloomer?
A mid-bloomer.
Yeah.
A mid-bloomer. I was still in my 20s. Mid-bloomer.
Okay.
When it happened.
Celia?
I went to school wanting to become a lawyer because I want to change the world and help people. And I realized I can't do that as a lawyer. There's like, I remember in school, my teacher pulled me out of class. It was like, you remind me of myself when I was younger, and I ended up being a lawyer, and I worked as a politician. You can't do what you want to do. Find a different way to change the world. And I'm like, okay. Then I became a graphic designer, and I worked as a graphic designer for a couple of years. And I was like, this is fun, but I can't do what I want to do as well, because in school they're telling you you have all the creativity you want to change, to do whatever it is. But in reality, you have to answer up to your bosses.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's not fun. Then I realized being in front of the camera, you can tell stories and inspire people and do all of that. Like play that lawyer on screen, play that designer on screen that's changing the world, and show people you can do it. So I ended up like, oh, let me try acting. And then, like you're saying, once you find a path, it just keeps on snowballing. Yeah.
Sister Cynthia, before you began to make films, what did you think you wanted to do?
I was teaching martial arts. I had 2 schools. So I started when I was young, when I was 13. So martial arts has been my whole life. And I really didn't think I was going to do movies. I used to train in New York City, and I'd go to Chinatown with my teacher every Sunday, and I'd always watch Jackie Chan. And I'd go home and I'd practice those moves. And I never dreamed that I would be doing a movie. And they were holding auditions one day. They were holding it in Los Angeles. They were looking for a guy. They were looking for a new Bruce Lee. And I was on the West Coast demonstration team, and they said, should we bring the girls? And they're like, yeah, you can bring them, but they're really looking for a guy. So we went down, and I had to do some form fighting, self-defense, weapons, and Corey Yoon was the person that was auditioning, and he said, I want to go with the girl. So I did my first film with Michelle Yeoh, 1985, and it was a big hit. And then after that, I thought I would just do one movie, and all I kept thinking is, someday I'm going to have a daughter, and she's going to see my picture on a poster that I did a movie. I don't know why that was in my head, but it was. And after the first movie, I had a goal in competition to be undefeated for 5 years, and that was the end of my 5th year. So I didn't know what I was going to do, because those last 5 years I was traveling all over the world, competing. And then it just fell in my lap, the movies. The first movie, did successful. I got a contract, and I was like, okay, this is the path God wants me on now. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I love the most is, because when I was doing this is back like in the 80s, mid-80s, right? There weren't that many women doing martial arts, and the fact that I would do so many films and I would see people that say to me, oh, I saw my boyfriend drag me to the movies, and I saw you, and now I want to do martial arts. Or even men saying, I started taking martial arts because I saw your films. Or women would say, I'm a lawyer, can you be a lawyer in your next film, And I just feel grateful. It's not so much I love movies, but I like the fact that, my legacy is that maybe I brought a lot of people into studying martial arts that may not have, And I truly do believe everybody should know self-defense.
Next question. How many of you are mothers? Okay.
I have one daughter, 20 years old, 5 dogs, 1 cat. So I guess I do have a big family.
Okay, so you're on the set working, and you had to get some mommy calls.
Well, interesting. I had my daughter in 1999, and at that time I did a movie with Don Wilson, and she was a little tiny baby, and I just was like, I want to be with my baby. So I stopped pretty much. I did like 2 films, I think, in like 10 years then, because I wanted to be mom. That was my important thing in my life, and I took her to Puerto Rico, when she was 3. My mom came along, and then she came with me, and then she went into school. So then I was like, I was just, she was my world. So I kind of stopped, and then I came back. Like, people are like, well, why did you stop doing films? I was like, because I wanted to spend time with my daughter.
Had you stopped training during that period? Did you have to rejuvenate?
Oh, absolutely not. I was training all the time. I was training her. I would teach my private lessons, and she'd be in the little baby basket and stretching her leg up as she was watching us. And I took her to like martial art events, and I started teaching her. And I actually started teaching martial arts at her school, so I could get her to study. I will never stop doing martial arts. Till the very last day I'm here on this earth. So it's my passion, my life, my love.
Thank you so much. We would like to take maybe 2 or 3 questions. Maybe 2. Sir?
Cynthia, I would like to know which is your favorite movies? Which is one of your favorite movies?
Of mine? That's a tough one. There's 2. One is the martial art kid. For fighting, it's any of the Hong Kong movies, because I think the fighting, the choreography is brilliant. But martial art kid, because it dealt with bullying, and it had a really good message, and it taught kids to stand up and not take bullying. And I thought, because of that message, it was such a good film. And then my second film is a little Christmas movie I did called Santa's Summer House. There was no action in it, but I played Mrs. Claus, and I love Christmas, so it's always been a favorite of mine to do that. So for fighting any of the Hong Kong movies and those two because of the message and because I love Christmas.
All the ladies too, the same as Kristen.
Well, I've never been in a movie.
No, just choose which one your favorite is.
Wow. Well, one of my favorite movies is The Warriors. And we're celebrating that this weekend, so I'm a diehard. I've probably seen that movie about 20 times.
Does anyone else have a question?
Ma'am?
So, I consider myself to be a bit of a late bloomer because I tried to be happy doing stuff other people thought I should be doing, and it wasn't until I was like, I'm miserable, and I don't want to kill myself because now I have this little baby that I need to take care of, that I was like, I need to be happy for me and do what actually makes me happy. So what would you say has been the one thing that keeps you happy, like going forward? And how do you find happiness even when you're doing things you may not necessarily want to?
Are you directing that to the group, or is there
like,
anyone in particular?
Well, like to the group, like I said, like I'm a mother, so like I'd like Cynthia's input, but also like as a woman of color, like we have all these expectations put on us, and it wasn't until like, you know what? I don't like any of that, and the stuff I do like isn't black or necessarily female, but that's fine. It's what I like, and you can suck it. I'm gonna be happy.
Okay, well, I think you answered your own question.
Hello. Hi. So my group, we're a bunch of we're just indie filmmakers, and you guys are our heroes. Like, inspirationally, I don't know if there's any other filmmakers here, but we all understand the struggle of making content and like starting out. So I can only see being a female performer, being a female in this industry is just as difficult, if not harder, because I'm also a female actress, martial artist as well.
And an awesome one.
Yes, she is.
And awesome. She's very humble.
So we actually, because of, honestly, Cynthia Rothrock, oh my god, I can't believe. Hi, sorry. Because of your film, actually, yes, madam. We created a feature film last year called Yes, Auntie, which is a really funny project. We had Bobby Samuels in it, actually, and your film inspired us to kind of make that film. So it's kind of
like a retelling, but I mean, because the thing is, so like I don't know how to explain this. I'm sorry. I'm also part of our team. So basically, we made this movie, and like we wanted to be here because like one of the whole ideas of making that film is like all of the guys, we kind of dressed up like we're all in drag, and all the females or all the badass female fighters there, they were like, you know, male, right? So and we kind of did a retelling of Yes, Madam. And
as like female actors, I feel like we always kind of succumb to the whole, hey, we want you to look sexy as you're fighting or just wear like skimpy clothes. It's the men in drag that actually showed more skin than us females as females. So it's just, yeah, I guess what I'm kind of getting into is just that with indie productions, it's really hard to kind of get people to see your stuff. So as individuals who have already really made an impact in society and in the entertainment industry, are you guys still interested in doing indie productions, or what, I guess, suggestions do you have for filmmakers or just people starting out like myself in the industry? Sorry, it's really long-winded, so sorry.
Well, I just want to say one thing. I want to see your film because that sounds amazing, and you should have me do a cameo as a man. That would have been funny.
Honestly,
we asked Bobby to ask you, but he didn't ask
you. We didn't ask you. We wanted you to be in it like so bad, but it was just, we were scared.
Yeah, so and the whole thing, I mean, if you guys want to watch it, it is actually on Amazon. It's called My Asian Auntie.
It's hysterical. It's great. It's great. If you really want a great ride on a Friday night, check out my Asian auntie.
Bobby Samuels does dress up as a woman, and
He's auntie. Oh, he's one of the aunties.
he's one of the aunties. He's mama.
We have 5 minutes left, ladies. We wish we could keep you forever. Nafessa, what are your last thoughts about Sheroes in action at the Urban Action Showcase?
So, I'm a fearless dreamer, and I believe that anything is possible.
Fearless dreamer.
Yeah.
You go.
Why fear? Fear and ego aren't real, right? It's all an illusion. So when I put my mind to something, and I always encourage everybody else, if you have a dream, go for it, because it's God giving you the insight that it's already gonna come to pass. You just have to put your foot forward. And I also tell actors, whatever your dream is, just engulf yourself in the environment of who you want to be. If you want to be a director, if you want to be an actor, just surround yourself with those people, and it'll all start to come to you. The universe will bring it all your way. And that's how I feel like you begin the first start. God is just waiting for us to take the first step, and then the rest is already done. And if you put the work in every day, even if you feel like it's taking a while or it's not happening as soon as you would like it to be, I always tell myself, as long as I'm working on it every day, it's simple math. It's gonna happen. So just stay steadfast, stay faithful, and put the work in. And anything that you want to do is possible.
Okay, Evelyn?
I think she said it all. I honestly, that was so well put. I share the same thoughts. Just the industry can be really tough. I've been in it pretty much my whole life. I worked as a commercial actress when I was younger, and that's how I got into stunts later on, because everything I did in the commercials were really high-acting action things. It's tough. It's a tough industry, but it also can be very rewarding if you just believe in yourself and you have confidence that you cannot stop what cannot be stopped. You have to understand that if you are ready and you're ready to go, no one can stop you. I don't care where you come from, no one can stop you. So just keep that drive going, and like she said, stay steadfast, because it'll happen. And think about what you want, because often I think about what I want, and before you know it, it happens. I don't know how, but it does. So just think about what you want and go for it. And much love to all of you.
Yeah, there's not much more to say than all that, but I just say, find your passion, whatever it is. And one of my best friends gave a speech, and this line stuck in my head, and he said, "I eat obstacles every day for breakfast."
Nice.
So I love that. It's not easy. Life isn't easy, but you know what? You have to do the work. You have to keep the positive attitude, and you don't give up. You just use failures as a challenge to move forward. So with that in mind, and you do all that, there's no way you're not going to succeed.
Piggybacking off of all those great sentiments. I'm all about circumventing, especially when it comes to some industries that are not easy to break into, or seems not like it's easy to break into. I'm all about just going in and around and through and finding a way, breaking through. There's always a way to get to where you really want to be. You just have to find it, and you have to be determined. You have to be all about what you want to do, and usually people will see that, and they'll be ready to get on board with you.
You guys said all the good things already. Well, I would just say don't give up, guys. I know you're gonna get 100 no's before the one yes, but every no you get, use it to empower yourself. For the next one, prepare yourself for when you get that one yes. For the indie filmmakers, keep doing it, and we all would do, I don't know, I can't say for all of us, but my friends and people I know would all do indie films as long as it's a good story and we feel like you're passionate about it. We'll do, and we'll help you with your passion as well. Just do it all together and rise together, guys.
Well, thank you, please. And we want you to know that one of the most valuable lives that you could ever live is one with impact. And congratulations on disrupting politics in your life. Because as women worldwide, we vote.